Hello everyone. Today, we're stepping into a land that feels both familiar and strangely mysterious. A country tucked quietly within Southeast Asia, yet often overlooked by many of us in Vietnam. For most people, Malaysia is simply the team we face in SEA Games or AFF Cup, a rival that always brings drama, passion, and heart-stopping moments. But behind the jerseys, behind the players whose appearances span every shade and every heritage, from East Asian fair-skinned athletes, to South Asian-looking powerhouses, to foreign-born talents carrying stories from distant lands, stands a nation built upon layers of culture, ethnicity, and identity. A nation so diverse that you could understand its entire cultural mosaic simply by looking at its national football team. Malaysia, a country that feels both known and unknown. People often describe Malaysia as a miniature Asia, a place where cultures collide and coexist. Here, Indian spices meet Chinese traditions. Malay villages sit beside bustling urban centers. Temples, mosques, and churches rise within the same skyline. Everything blends, overlaps, and interweaves, forming a cultural portrait unlike anywhere else on Earth. Few realize that Malaysia is, quite literally, split in two by the South China Sea, consisting of peninsular Malaysia and Malaysian Borneo. With a total area of roughly 329,758 square kilometers, the country is nearly the same size as Vietnam. But here's a detail that surprises almost everyone. The distance from Malaysia's eastern coast to its western coast on the peninsula is only 64 kilometers. A small number for a nation with such a large influence in the region. Peninsular Malaysia is home to 11 out of 13 states, including icons like Selangor and Johor. Kuala Lumpur, the vibrant, electrifying heart of the country, also lies here. Meanwhile, on the far side of the sea, Sabah and Sarawak stretch across the vast greenery of Borneo, lands where nature still breathes in its original form, where ancient forests tower over rich, untouched ecosystems. One of Malaysia's greatest gifts is its climate, steady, warm, and gentle throughout the year. Daytime hovers around 30 degrees Celsius, nights cool to about 22 degrees Celsius. No extreme heat, no biting cold. Just a comfortable rhythm that makes every journey feel pleasant, calm, and deeply immersive. When people think of Malaysia, many picture the iconic Petronas Twin Towers or giant shopping districts gleaming under city lights. But Malaysia has another title, one that few ever hear. The nation of 1,000 islands. In fact, Malaysia has 878 islands, each with its own story, its own landscape, its own soul. Some feel mystical, others glow with tropical energy, and some remain so untouched that the sand still holds the purity of a place that has barely known human footsteps. Here is where you'll find some of Asia's, and even the world's, most breathtaking beaches. Hidden corners of paradise waiting quietly, patiently, for those who dare to explore beyond the familiar. The heart of Malaysia beats to a multicultural rhythm, steady, vibrant, and undeniably unique. With a population of about 32.7 million people, just one-third of Vietnam's size, Malaysia is astonishingly diverse. More than 50% are Malay, around 30% are of Chinese descent, 8% are Indian, and the rest are communities with roots in Indonesia, Cambodia, Bangladesh, and even a growing number of Vietnamese choosing Malaysia as their new home. This makes Malaysia one of the most ethnically, religiously, and culturally diverse nations in all of Asia. Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, all coexist in a delicate balance, shaping a spiritual landscape that is colorful, layered, and full of character. Malaysian culture is a harmony of influences, the modern touch of the West, the deep heritage of the East, and the earthy essence of its native roots. Together, they form something that Malaysians describe simply, yet proudly, the culture of Malaysia, a symphony no other nation can replicate. Within this nation of more than 32 million people, nearly 60% are Muslim, a number that reveals just how deeply Islam is woven into the Malaysian identity. It is not merely a belief system. It is written into the constitution as the official religion of the country. And because of that, it shapes almost every aspect of life, economics, politics, education, and even law. Malaysia has Islamic courts, its own Sharia-based legal structures, and similar to more traditional Muslim nations, a societal foundation where Malay Muslims hold a central position. Native Malays following Islam receive certain privileges in employment, government institutions, and social policies. Here, diversity exists, but so does a clear cultural hierarchy. Mention Malaysia, and you mention fusion, collision, interaction. And there is no better place to witness this than in its cuisine. Malaysian food is, quite literally, an international alliance. A giant cultural hotpot where Indian spices melt into Chinese richness, blending seamlessly with the fragrant halal traditions of Malay cuisine. Every ethnic group, every faith contributes its own flavor, and instead of overpowering one another, they merge into a culinary symphony that feels both familiar and entirely new. Here you'll find satay, legendary skewers, the national soul of Malaysian street food. Nasi lemak, creamy, aromatic rice often called the heart and pride of Malay cuisine. Roti canai, the flaky, stretchy flatbread dipped in endless varieties of curry. And countless delicate noodle dishes reflecting the precision and heritage of Chinese cooking. But this diversity of religions also makes eating in Malaysia unexpectedly complex. Muslims don't eat pork. Hindus don't eat beef. So one type of meat rises above all, embraced by every community, every faith, every household, from street stalls to luxury malls: chicken. In Malaysia, if there is one thing that unites all religions at the dinner table, it's chicken. When you think of Malaysia, what's the very first image that flashes across your mind? For many people, the answer appears instantly: Kuala Lumpur, the beating heart of the nation, a modern capital bursting with energy, ambition, and unmistakable Southeast Asian pride. Located on the Malaysian peninsula, Kuala Lumpur has long been the soul of the country. This is where you'll find the Petronas Twin Towers, once the tallest twin towers on the planet, a symbol of Malaysia's determination to rise, to evolve, and to stand tall on the global stage. Surrounded by dozens of skyscrapers piercing the sky, Kuala Lumpur feels like a declaration of the future, written in steel and glass. But KL's beauty isn't just its skyline. The city is wrapped in one of Asia's most advanced public transportation networks, MRT, LRT, monorail, systems that weave through the metropolis like arteries, connecting every pulse of urban life with sleek efficiency. Movement in KL feels effortless, as if the city itself wants to carry you forward. And if you love shopping, then welcome. Because Kuala Lumpur is nothing short of a shopping paradise. That's no exaggeration. While many countries still rely heavily on street-side shops, Malaysia has taken a completely different path. Nearly all commercial activity is absorbed into massive, world-class shopping malls. Clothes, cosmetics, electronics, gourmet food, street snacks, everything is inside. You can shop from morning until your legs give out. And when you think you're done, the malls stay open until 10 p.m., often even later on weekends. Malaysia's cultural diversity extends beyond traditions and food. It shows up in the way people spend, a diversity of lifestyles, habits, and urban rhythms. But the moment you arrive in Kuala Lumpur, there's one sight, one landmark, that almost every traveler must visit, must photograph, must stand beneath in awe: the Petronas Twin Towers. The proud emblem of Malaysia. A beacon of identity for its people. A shining lighthouse of Southeast Asia. Designed by an Argentinian architect and completed in 1998, the towers rise from a site that once served as a racing track, a symbolic transformation from speed to ambition, from local identity to global recognition. Today, at 452 meters tall, with 88 floors, the Petronas Twin Towers remain the tallest twin towers in the world. And yes, let's emphasize it clearly, twin towers, so no one confuses the title or sparks another endless debate. Standing beneath them, you don't just see a building. You feel the story of a nation reflected in two shining pillars, bold, resilient, and endlessly reaching upward. When you think of Malaysia, what's the first image that comes to mind? For many, it is Kuala Lumpur, the beating heart of the nation, a modern, fast-moving capital that stands as the proud face of Malaysia. Located on the Malaysian peninsula, Kuala Lumpur has long been the spiritual core of the country. This is where the Petronas Twin Towers rise, once the tallest twin towers on Earth, symbols of ambition, resilience, and Malaysia's relentless desire to leap toward the future. Surrounded by dozens of skyscrapers piercing the sky, Kuala Lumpur feels like a bold declaration written in steel and glass, Southeast Asia is stepping into tomorrow. But Kuala Lumpur is not only beautiful because of its lights. It thrives on convenience, efficiency, and momentum. The city boasts one of Asia's most advanced public transportation systems, MRT, LRT, monorail, networks of rails running through the city like arteries, connecting every corner of urban life. And if you love shopping, then welcome to paradise. No exaggeration, Kuala Lumpur is built for consumers. While many countries, including Vietnam, still cling to street-front stores, Malaysia has moved nearly all commercial activity into massive shopping malls. Clothing, cosmetics, electronics, food, everything exists under one giant, air-conditioned roof. You can shop non-stop from morning until night, stopping only when exhaustion finally catches up with you. Malls here often stay open until 10 p.m., and even later on weekends. Malaysia isn't just diverse in culture, it's diverse in how it spends money. But the one thing every visitor must see, the one landmark that nearly 100% of tourists check in at, is the Petronas Twin Towers. The pride of Malaysia. The icon of Southeast Asia. A shining lighthouse of the region. Designed by an Argentinian architect and completed in 1998, the Petronas Towers stand on what used to be a racetrack. Today, the structure rises 452 meters high, with 88 floors, still holding the title of the tallest twin towers in the world. Emphasize twin, just to settle all debates before they begin. Because Islam is Malaysia's official religion, the architectural style of Petronas draws direct inspiration from Islamic design, star-shaped motifs, symmetrical geometry, and a tower structure symbolizing spiritual harmony. The exterior is wrapped entirely in glass and stainless steel, allowing the towers to reflect light like two polished silver blades rising into the sky. The most striking feature of all is the sky bridge, the floating bridge connecting the two towers. Spanning 158 meters and positioned 170 meters above ground, it acts as the meeting point of these two giants. Anyone wanting to reach the highest floors must pass through this very bridge. After the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the sky bridge was no longer freely accessible. It was reclassified as a critical emergency escape route should one tower ever face danger. Even so, around 1,500 visitors step onto the bridge every single day, a testament to its irresistible appeal. Leaving the bright lights of Kuala Lumpur, we journey to a quieter, more whimsical destination, Kuching, the city with the most adorable name in all of Malaysia. In Malay, Kuching simply means cat. Nestled peacefully along the Sarawak River, Kuching is blanketed by greenery and natural forests. And if you're a cat lover, this place is nothing short of a dream. Giant cat statues, cat-themed decorations, feline icons of every expression, the entire city feels like it has been catified, turning Kuching into a feline paradise. But the charm of Kuching extends far beyond its quirky theme. It's a fascinating blend of traditional and modern architecture, a gateway into Sarawak, one of Malaysia's richest regions in indigenous culture. Highlights include the Cat Museum, the Sarawak Museum, the Chinatown Quarter, and the famed Cultural Village, each offering a unique window into Malaysia's heritage. It's a place where every street corner tells a story, where every building carries a layer of history. And finally, you simply cannot talk about Malaysia without mentioning the king of all fruits, durian. Thanks to its warm tropical climate, Malaysia is blessed with an incredible variety of lush, juicy fruits. Yet the one that puts Malaysia on the global culinary map is none other than the legendary Musang King. The king of all kings, the nation's pride. Musang King carries a deep golden color, thick creamy flesh, tiny seeds, and a rich, buttery flavor that strikes a perfect balance, indulgent but never overwhelmingly sweet. To Malaysians, Musang King is not just a fruit. It's a cultural emblem. There was even a moment when Malaysia's Prime Minister gifted Musang King to Singapore's Prime Minister during an agricultural showcase, a gesture symbolic enough to reveal its national significance. And durian in Malaysia is not limited to eating fresh. People here reinvent it into countless creative forms: durian pastries, durian candies, durian ice cream, durian milk tea, and an entire universe of desserts that scream one thing. This is Malaysia. So if you ever travel to Malaysia, make sure Musang King is on your must-try list. Because this fruit is more than a taste, It is a piece of the nation's soul. Malaysia, a country tucked in the heart of Southeast Asia, modest on the world map but holding an entire cultural universe within. A land where majestic mosques stand side by side with futuristic skyscrapers, where untouched islands lie just beyond bustling, world-class cities, where every street, every dish, every face carries a story of harmony, of history, of ethnic and spiritual diversity. From the proud Petronas Towers, shining as a symbol of national ambition, to humble Kuching, where cats, in every form and expression, have become the spirit of the city. From endless beaches, forests, and hundreds of breathtaking islands, to the intoxicating scent of Musang King, irresistible to its lovers, unforgettable even to those who fear it. Malaysia is not just a destination. Malaysia is an emotional journey. A place where differences don't divide, they define. A place where diversity is not noise, it is music. A place where you can witness a developing nation rise toward the future, yet still hold tightly to its ancestral roots. And perhaps what makes Malaysia truly special is its people. Kind, warm, welcoming, proud of who they are. They don't try to impress you, they let their culture speak. They let their food tell stories. They let their architecture and nature leave the imprint on your heart. If you ever get the chance, go to Malaysia. Go to hear the call to prayer echoing through a bustling metropolis. Go to watch the Twin Towers glow like twin beacons in the night. Go to taste the rich, creamy Musang King as it melts instantly on your tongue. And go to discover that sometimes, the beauty of a country isn't measured in grandeur, but in the gentle, unspoken pride woven into everyday life. Malaysia, a miniature Asia, a miniature world, and one of the most unforgettable destinations you should visit at least once in your lifetime.